The issue underlying our project is stormwater runoff and its environmental effects. Stormwater runoff is a major contributor to pollutant discharge into large bodies of water. But what is stormwater? Is there a difference between stormwater runoff and stormwater? And what are its environmental effects? Stormwater is precipitation in the form of either heavy rain or snowfall that pools together in abnormal amounts. As it flows, it picks up contaminants. This is when it's transformed from stormwater to stormwater runoff. These contaminants can range from pesticides in agricultural communities, oil and other toxins left on the roads from cars, and even pet waste. According to the EPA, stormwater runoff is responsible for contaminating 5,000 square miles of estuaries, 1.4 million acres of lakes, and 30,000 miles of rivers. These effects are concerning, provided that approximately 77% of drinking water in the United States is acquired from surface water resources. To summarize stormwater's effects, it could, when improperly managed, contaminate drinking water, exposing the public to a variety of pollutants. Stormwater is also highly erosive, so road repairs are accelerated. Stormwater also has a very adverse effect on the environment. The Charles River here in Massachusetts is an unfortunate example of the effects of stormwater pollution. Bodies of water that are affected by stormwater often turn a green color when toxic algae is in bloom, or a brown murky color in other cases. Everything from fishing suspension to public suspension of use is a possibility when algae is in bloom. In the case of the Charles River, this toxic algae has bloomed almost every summer in recent years. The EPA is making an effort to reduce the stormwater runoff causing these blooms. These kinds of contamination are detrimental to residents, the environment, and have an economic effect on businesses that use the river.
What is an MS4? An MS4 stands for a Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. MS4s are systems that collect and drain untreated and polluted stormwater into local bodies of water. The three major components of an MS4 include catch basins, pipes, and outfalls. Under the second phase of the National Stormwater Program, MS4s that fall within designated urbanized areas and municipalities with populations less than 100,000 are required to comply with all regulation. The current regulation in Massachusetts for small MS4s is the 2016 Massachusetts Small MS4 General Permit. Because Phase 2 is a federally unfunded mandate, municipalities must find the means within their budget or taxation to support the program. This lack of funding has put a strain on a lot of communities trying to understand the complexity of the permit and comply with it. Part of the permit is the compliance with 6 minimum control measures. The third minimum control measure, known as illicit discharge detection and elimination, requires permittees to formulate and execute a system that not only detects but aims to eliminate illicit discharges into the MS4. A requirement of this control measure is system mapping. The purpose of system mapping is to identify key infrastructure of the MS4 and to allow a quick understanding of the MS4. Under the Massachusetts regulation, the system mapping is completed in 2 phases. The first phase of the program is required to be completed within 2 years of the permit issuance, while the second phase of the program requires the system map be updated annually and be completed within 10 years of the permit issuance.
So in order to understand how these maps are updated, we must first talk a little bit about GIS. Now you may be asking, what is GIS? What do those letters mean? Well, GIS stands for Geographic Information System, or systems plural. And as the name probably implies, these are systems which are used as integration tools, turning geospatial data and information into 2D, 3D, and even 4D layers. Now you might say, well, what is geospatial data? Geospatial data is basically any and all information having an implicit or explicit association with a location on Earth. This is a combination of the location coordinates, characteristics, time, or lifespan of the object, event, or phenomena occurring. With all this being said, GIS allows users to identify social trends, analyze land use trends, formulate predictions, and illustrate a wide variety of scenarios. As you can probably imagine now, sharing available geospatial data is very important because this allows us to expand upon our abilities to analyze and address any and all issues in which geospatial data could be applicable. Because of the size of the CMRSWC, we chose to do our case study methodology on 3 towns in their coalition. We did this to conduct a qualitative research through interviews and observations for our purposes of performing an in-depth analysis of the more complex problem of stormwater management. In doing so, we aimed to promote safe and effective stormwater management, along with support for and compliance with the Massachusetts MS4 regulations. The main goal of our project was to improve interorganizational collaboration on geospatial data between CMRSWC communities and the Mass DOT in meeting the requirements of the MS4 permit. To accomplish this goal, we developed a guidance document providing recommendations for effectively organizing GIS data. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy.